Tonight, heavy emotions as the Riders pay their respects to 2 people killed in a crash. The GTH buys back a portion of its original land from Cargill, and a Regina City Councillor helping build interest in municipal politics for a new generation.
Live from our studios in Regina, this is CTV News.
Good evening. Lee is back next week. An emotional game from kickoff to the final whistle, ending in heartbreak for the Saskatchewan Roughriders last night. It wasn't the result the green and white were hoping for after honoring 2 men, including a teammate, killed in a collision near Lumsden last weekend. Donovan Mace reports.
A chance for the Saskatchewan Roughriders to pause.
We're keeping his family, his friends, and all those in mourning in his loss in our thoughts.
And mark the lives of 22-year-old Bhishma Rajyaguru and teammate Jayden Dalke prior to kickoff Thursday.
You guys make it a pleasure to come to work. Nobody else I'd rather do it with, guys. Let's go.
Tribute videos and a moment of silence for both men killed in a 2-car collision north of Regina last weekend.
It was well done by the organization, honoring both people, and obviously, tumultuous, strange week to navigate as a team, but I was proud of our team in terms of coming out and fighting.
And in one final act of honor to their fallen brother,
The Roughriders will have 11 on the field.
The missing man formation on the team's first punt of the night. Dalke's spot on the field left unattended.
I was talked about a little bit through the week, and then Nick Weeb came to my office. And he asked if it was okay.
That's JD's spot, right? I mean, he's the one calling the protections. He's the one making the calls. So we wanted to do something. Just the special teams unit.
An emotional game from before kickoff.
Harris, deep shots, got him to the 10-5 touchdown.
Turning into momentum swings in both directions for 60 minutes. Over 1,000 yards of total offense, 70 points combined, and 9 lead changes. All to come down to the final play. A 57-yard walk-off field goal by Elks kicker Vincent Blanchard, breaking the hearts of the Roughriders.
I'm probably going to be waking up all night thinking about the last play.
We knew that team would play to the very end. We know that makeup is obviously the same as us. And it did. It came down to the very last play of the game.
I'm proud of the way these guys battled today. I love everybody in this locker room, and shake back next week.
Not getting the result they wanted in their first game since Dalke's death, the Riders turn their heads to next week when they will get another crack at these very same Elks. Donovan Mace, CTV News, Regina.
In a statement to the Canadian press, Jayden Dalke's family saying he was deeply loved and will be missed beyond words. The family also offering condolences to Rajyaguru's family and first responders affected by the crash. They ask that anyone wishing to honor Dalke make a donation to the Saskatchewan Roughrider Foundation in his memory. The family is asking for privacy as they grieve the unimaginable loss. 2 people are dead and a third was sent to hospital after a crash in southeastern Saskatchewan today. RCMP closed Highway 39 around 10 a.m. just west of Yellowgrass. Police say 2 SUVs collided. Both drivers died in the crash, identified as a 45-year-old man from Saskatoon and a 76-year-old man from the U.S. Their families have been notified. A woman riding in one of the vehicles was taken to hospital for non-life-threatening injuries. The highway has since reopened. The Saskatchewan NDP is calling on the provincial government to be more transparent over what the NDP calls a scathing report on healthcare in Lloydminster. Jacob Carr has more.
Leaders from Lloydminster joined the NDP at the Legislative Building, claiming that the provincial government has been hiding a report on health services needs in Lloydminster.
Families have been telling anyone that would listen that their healthcare system in Lloydminster and region is under enormous strain. But truly what is shocking is how clearly and comprehensively this report confirms those concerns.
In an emailed statement, the government of Saskatchewan said it is aligned with Alberta in its commitment to work together to provide consistent and high-quality healthcare services for the border city. The province going on to say that it has made significant investments since the last needs assessment was completed in Lloydminster, including a new dialysis unit to serve 24 patients, creation of a 3rd operating room, 44 new living spaces at Pioneer House and 60 new continuing care spaces. But some residents disagree with the government's assessment.
What was reported in 2013 wasn't addressed and needs to be addressed, only more addressed. It's fine to build hospitals, but if you don't have people and services to go with those hospitals, you've got a problem.
On top of the lack of staffing mentioned by Dunn, some of the issues in the report highlighted by the NDP include the hospital no longer being adequate, the closure of its intensive care unit, ER wait times, and a lack of mental health services. A summary of the report's findings was released by the government in June, which says local needs are largely being met by existing service levels, and the report will be used by both provinces to inform clinical planning and priorities. Jacob Carr, CTV News, Regina.
Regina's global transportation hub has faced criticism over the years for its high cost and slow land sales. But now, with the majority of the more than 1,800 acres sold, the GTH is increasing its footprint and planning for further growth. Wayne Mantika reports.
It was an opportunity that the GTH didn't want to pass up. Nearly 3/4 of adjacent property on a spur line connecting to CN and CPKC tracks.
This acquisition is not about acquiring more land. It's about maintaining the strategic asset of dual rail connectivity for both CN and CP. And so this site will be very attractive to other value-added processing users and other large-scale investments.
Cargill had purchased the property to build a rail link to its new canola crush facility. It needed only a narrow strip crossing 3/4 of farmland, but was forced to purchase the entire package. Most of the land was surplus to Cargill's needs.
Unless a farmer wants to subdivide their land, which is not normally the case, they will almost, if you're commercially negotiating something, they'll want to sell you that whole half section or section of land that's necessary to build that infrastructure.
The GTH paid Cargill $10 million for the 418 acres. It will be added to GTH land holdings that were 75% sold out.
We're going to extend this to people who need rail access, and with the amount of utilities that we have in the area that were brought in for Cargill, it's going to be really attractive.
The global transportation hub had started out with close to 2,000 acres, but had sold all but 450. The latest rail and land acquisition will double the amount of property available for development and continue to spur economic growth in the Regina area. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, Regina.
Regina's mayor says he's confident in the decision to terminate former police chief Farouk Sheikh with cause.
We'll be following the process, and at the end of the day, the board is confident in the decisions that they've made, and will proceed and follow the process as needed.
A wait-and-see approach echoed by Regina's current police chief after a Board of Police Commissioners meeting this week. Sheikh, who was terminated last year following an investigation into alleged misconduct, is appealing his dismissal, with hearing dates set for September. A major portion of Regina's Ring Road in the city's northeast will be closed or restricted for the next few days, mainly overnight. City crews are starting repaving work between Albert Street and Winnipeg Street tonight. The city says the work is using overnight and weekend work hours to minimize disruptions for drivers and commutes. The work is expected to be complete by next Thursday. The number of active wildfires in Saskatchewan has jumped in recent days. According to the province's active wildfire map, 68 active fires are burning in the province's north, 13 are not contained. Earlier this week, there were 55 active fires. Despite the increase, the air quality advisory that was in place for most of northern Saskatchewan has been lifted. Environment Canada expects poor air quality will start to improve into the weekend in other areas. Sabine Ahmed joins us now for our first look at weather conditions. Sabine, another toasty day in much of southern Saskatchewan.
Yeah, some may say it didn't feel as bad as what we've felt before with those humidex values in the 40s. As of right now, we do have some heat warnings issued for the weekend, Cole. So some areas we could see those humidex values getting into the 40s, but we'll certainly see those air temperatures getting into the low to mid 30s for much of the southern Sask that you can see there, all covered in red. Now, Regina right now not in the heat warning, but we'll certainly fear some very warm temperatures heading into the weekend. That gray area around Kerrobert, Kindersley, we're seeing that's where the air quality warnings stretch up to. We're still seeing them also down in the Maple Creek, Swift Current, all the way into the Coronach area for the air quality warnings, and then up in North Battleford and surrounding areas, heat warnings as well. Those ones expecting daytime highs up to the high 20s, low 30s. Now today we warmed up to about 28 degrees. The average is 26. Felt closer into about 31, 32 degrees today. But like I said, that's just the beginning. It's a hot weekend ahead, and I'll have details coming up in the forecast. Cole?
All right, thanks, Sabine. Well, you may have noticed more weeds and taller grass in some city parks and green spaces in Regina. According to the city, there's been more park-related service calls based around maintenance, including weeds or grass cutting. Mayor Bashinsky said that certain field spaces, such as soccer, didn't quite hit residents' expectations, and it's partially due to a difficult budget year.
We had a very tough budget that we went through last year. I worked very closely with admin to look at what are options to try and be creative in the way we deliver those services. And parks was one of those areas. And that was around, a lot of that was around reclassifying park spaces and how we treat those.
The mayor said he'll look to reiterate park maintenance during the budget this year. A pair of preliminary budget meetings are set to take place next week. A long-term study focused on the overall health and well-being of Canadians is making a stop in southern Saskatchewan. Statistics Canada is following various traits and conditions affecting residents across the country. Mick Favel finds out what brought the voluntary survey to Weyburn.
For the next 6 weeks, residents from Weyburn and the surrounding area will be visiting these trailers for a health checkup. It's part of a cross-country survey helping paint a current picture of overall Canadian health.
We look at diabetes rates, we look at cardiovascular rates, again, environmental exposure, different types of exposures, and we look over time if it's changed, if it's improved.
The Canadian Health Measures Survey began in 2007. It's intended to gather information that will help improve the prevention, diagnosis, and treatment of illnesses. Now in its 8th cycle, the survey visits different areas of the country to ensure the results reflect Canada as a whole. Within one of the trailers is a lab dedicated to collecting samples and where some of the number gathering starts.
They will process them and be ready to ship them out for a large suite of testing in this case. It's often the draw for respondents to come in and to, have the information provided back to them in terms of these measures specifically.
Over the years, the survey has uncovered certain health traits among Canadians, including obesity, diabetes, and high blood pressure becoming more common. Lavoie says the survey digs deep, creating information which could make changes down the line.
To provide our researchers this information, to provide our partners this information, and with that they can make decisions, they can provide additional information on guidelines.
People aged 1 to 79 are taking part in this Statistics Canada survey. Participants who complete the testing will receive $150 for their time. Mick Favel, CTV News, Weyburn.
A group of Regina youth participated in a mock city council meeting this morning. High school and university students gathered in the city council chambers on the final day of the council summer school program. Each participant had a role in the mock meeting, including a mayor, city manager, and ward councillors, also making their own motions and voting on them. Earlier this month, the students learned in classroom about municipal operations, elections, and governance.
My hope is that in the future, this would inspire youth to become involved for real, whether it's as civic servants, as elected officials, or just in general more involved with their city.
There were 17 participants in total, and organizers hope to grow the event in the future. Still ahead, the opening of a major bridge project named for a Saskatchewan-born hockey icon. And amid a possible strike, WestJet is giving some customers an option to make changes. It bears the name of a Saskatchewan-born hockey legend, but it was a somewhat subdued opening for the Gordie Howe Bridge. There was no shortage of Canadian officials on hand, but no U.S. representatives, highlighting the tensions over tariffs. CTV's senior correspondent Adrian Gabriel reports from Windsor, Ontario.
A ribbon cutting a quarter century in the making.
Behind us stands one of the most significant infrastructure achievements in Canada's history.
Billed as a towering beacon of trade and prosperity, the Gordie Howe Bridge spans 2.5 kilometers. It cost Canadian taxpayers $6.4 billion, and it took more than 20 million hours of labor. As the sun shined down on today's proceedings, clouds of controversy swirled.
We prepare to welcome first crossings on Monday.
Okay. While literally bridging two nations, only one anthem was sung on this day.
And President Trump has threatened new tariffs just this month. But Team Canada has never been more united.
The glad handing scheduled between Canadian and U.S. government officials, originally planned, put on ice amid a renewed tariff dispute.
We all know who that person might be if we were going to check, if Gordie was going to check one person into the board.
President Trump posting on his Truth Social account today that Canada disinvited the U.S. to the opening of the Gordie Howe Bridge, which is fine, considering that they are paying substantial tariffs to the U.S., but the original deal on the bridge, which was terribly negotiated by a previous administration, no longer stands, though the original deal was between Canada and the state of Michigan.
These agreements are in place.
A group of kids broke the ice with a game of road hockey on the bridge, even though some of the sticks in hand have been slapped with a 50% tariff by the Trump administration. The focus on this day was also on the bridge's namesake, one of Canada's greatest sporting exports to the U.S.
He wouldn't be happy with the tensions that are going on.
Your father was a fiercely proud Canadian. What message would he have for the current trade turmoil between the U.S. and Canada?
Get together, have some common sense, work it out.
While 30-plus members of the Howe family deservedly soaked in the occasion, on this day, fault lines in the cross-border connection forged in Canadian and American steel have emerged. Even with a clear road ahead, the future path for this trade route, now spanning troubled waters, remains murky.
The contentious crossing is finally scheduled to open to cross-border vehicle and pedestrian traffic this coming Monday. Adrian Gabriel, CTV News, Windsor, Ontario.
Meanwhile, there's been yet another tariff announcement from the U.S., this time the Trump administration hitting dozens of countries, including Canada, with a 10% tariff, but products covered by CUSMA are unaffected. The justification the U.S. claims is forced labor in supply chains. This new duty was announced just hours before the previous tariff was set to expire. Canada, Mexico, and the U.K. are among the countries facing the 10% tariff, while other nations will see a 12.5% levy. This is on top of separate tariffs already placed on Canada on sectors like steel, aluminum, and autos, along with a new 50% proposed tariff announced on Monday. The Canada-U.S. Trade Minister said Canada has strong safeguards for preventing forced labor and shares the U.S. goal of keeping it out of supply chains. In Ukraine, a Russian attack near Kyiv killed at least 10 people and wounded nearly 100 others today. The attack hit the grounds of a privately operated military training site that was hosting an event. 27 homes and 44 vehicles were also damaged in the surrounding area. Meanwhile, a Ukrainian attack on a military plant in Russia killed 6 and injured 26 others, according to the regional governor there. Ukraine has expanded its military campaign with bigger and more frequent drone attacks inside Russia. In the Middle East, there's no let-up in the fighting between the U.S. and Iran. The Americans say they conducted a 13th straight night of strikes. Hours later, drones targeted a city in northern Iraq where U.S. forces are stationed. 5 were shot down, and no injuries or damage were reported. Bahrain reported it also intercepted Iranian aerial attacks, but did not say if there were any casualties or damage. Donald Trump said today he doesn't think China or Russia are participating in the Iran war, but the U.S. president warned that if they did get involved, it would, quote, be very bad for them. With the threat of a strike looming, WestJet is giving some travelers a chance to change or cancel bookings. The airline says passengers with flights scheduled for July 30th through August 4th can make a one-time change or cancellation without a fee. WestJet says the move is meant to give customers more flexibility and peace of mind. Last week, the airline's cabin crew voted over 99% in favor of walking off the job. The union says wages, unpaid work, and working conditions are major sticking points. 4,400 workers could legally go on strike August 2nd. After the break, your full forecast, plus meeting an extraordinary Canadian, the oldest living person in the country at 110.
Summer blockbuster has been extended at Regina's Kramer IMAX Theatre. Monday on Your Morning, we're taking you behind the scenes at one of only 41 theaters that can show the film version of The Odyssey.
Welcome back. Taking a look outside, still a little hazy. We actually starting to see more cloud cover rolling in as well. Currently sitting at 27, feeling like 32. And we did, as I mentioned earlier, warm up to about 28 degrees. And that humidex level stayed at about 31, 32 for most of the afternoon at least. Now, again, we do have these heat warnings issued. You'll notice Regina is not in that heat warning. And we're going to continue to see these warnings stick around heading into the weekend. And then it's not just this little area around Kindersley, Kerrobert that's under that air quality warning. We're actually seeing that all covered into the southwest corner as well, with the wildfire smoke from BC actually making its way into the southwest of Saskatchewan. So feeling the effects of the smoke, and then on top of that, we've got the heat warnings. And then again, in that North Battleford area, we do have the heat warnings as well. Now in this area, we could expect to see daytime highs in the high 20s to low 30s, but in southern Saskatchewan down here, expecting daytime highs in the low to mid 30s, and that's just the air temperature. That's not what the humidex levels are expected to be at. We'll talk more about that in your 7-day forecast. But in terms of active weather, we will see some of that rain, but most of it is sticking to northern Saskatchewan. Prince Albert will see some rain overnight tonight into the early morning hours of tomorrow, but most of central southern Saskatchewan continuing to see clear conditions, especially starting your Saturday morning tomorrow. Nothing but sunshine, and then it's not again until we get into Saturday night. We have that system bringing rain from Alberta, and again, most of it sticking to the north before it weakens and breaks up. Now, there is a slight chance Yorkton could see some rain Saturday night into the early morning hours of Sunday, but again, any rain that we do see coming through parts of central southern Saskatchewan as of right now is looking like it could be about 1 millimeter, if that. We also know systems have a mind of their own sometimes, can change direction, and also strength can either weaken or get even more stronger as it's making its way eastward. So as of right now, though, most of the weekend expected to be nothing but sunshine and very warm temperatures, and you see that right there on the map continuing all the way into Monday. Nothing but sunshine expected. Temperatures tomorrow nearing the 30-degree mark for many areas. 27 for La Ronge and La Loche tomorrow, 29 and sunny for Lloydminster. As we saw on the map, could see some of that rain coming through parts of the north. Lloydminster could see a low risk of a thunderstorm tonight. 30 and sunny for Prince Albert tomorrow. 31 and sunshine for North Battleford, and Saskatoon and Yorkton expecting daytime highs of 32 and nothing but sunshine. Again, these are the air temperatures. On top of that, with the humidex value, expecting that to be more so mid 30s. A very warm one for Maple Creek. 36 and sunny, expecting the humidex level into the low 40s. 34 for Swift Current tomorrow, and for Moose Jaw, nothing but sunshine there. Same story for the southeast. 35 for Weyburn and Assiniboia, and Estevan 34 and sunshine for Regina. Taking a look at tonight, 17 is the expected low. Clear conditions, 34 and sunny with the winds up to about 45 kilometers an hour. And then as we take a look at what's to come for the next week, I just updated these temperatures over the last hour. So 34 tomorrow, feeling like 38. On Sunday, 31, feeling like 36. Monday, sunny, 32, feeling like about 34, 35. I do want to point out on Sunday, windy day expected, so very warm, but also the winds gusting up to about 60 kilometers an hour. And then as we get into the rest of your week, we're still sitting in the 30s, so well above what the average daytime high is, which is about 26, 27 degrees. 31 and sunny Tuesday, 32 by Wednesday, and then we get closer back into our seasonal range. 28 on Thursday and 29 on Friday. Cold. Doesn't look like we're going to expect to see any clouds over the next week. It's a lot of sunshine. Any chance of seeing any type of precipitation would most likely be overnight and scattered precipitation. So a very warm week ahead.
I guess we'll have to make our own precipitation. Looks like a great week to start the side hustle I've been thinking about on those personal Mr. fans.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Yeah, we should look into that.
So if you see me on a street corner with Mr.
No lemonade stand.
No, I can't take business. You know, the lemonade stand folks, they're hardworking folks.
That's true. Okay.
Thanks, Sabine.
You bet. Thank you.
At age 110, Marie Rosa is Canada's oldest living person, born at a time when women in this country did not have the right to vote. She's lived through 17 prime ministers, 2 world wars, and 3 bouts of COVID during the pandemic. Omar Sachedina finds out the secret to what keeps her going.
There's a quiet acceptance at this retirement home that those who move in here might not end up staying very long.
She's my little lady.
Marie Rosa knows that better than anyone. That's why the woman who believes every moment matters has mustered all her energy to take part in the celebration of a lifetime.
It's so good to meet you.
You're 71, your mom is 110. Do you realize how special this is?
Oh, I do, because I have so many friends who we've gone through the passings of all their parents.
Marie was born on September 17th, 1915, during the First World War, serving as a seamstress and forewoman during the Second World War.
She's tough.
Oh, very tough.
She lived through the Great Depression, which taught her a valuable lesson.
Not wasting a thing, like you scrape the butter off the paper, you don't just unwrap it and throw it away.
What kept her going over the years was the freedom she got from hitting the road.
We would drop my dad off at work at the post office. He was an inside worker, and then we'd take the car for the day and visit an aunt or a sister or something. You enjoyed driving when you could, right? Yeah?
Car riding.
Yeah, driving, yes. Yes, car driving, yes.
Fashion, another source of joy.
She wouldn't buy many clothes.
That's
What would
right.
she buy? Yeah, she loved to dress up.
Yeah, you look so beautiful, Ma.
Wanting to look great hasn't changed over time. Which brings us back to the party, the celebration, to honor her as Canada's oldest living person. A moment even marked by the passing of a crown, created by the family of the man who last carried that title. Bert Sisler died in April. His son says his father shared Marie's commitment to making things count.
They're the ones that straighten nails and use them again. You didn't waste anything.
When someone you love has lived this long, watching them slowly slip away is harder.
I'm losing her, a bit at a time, and that hurts.
Have you told her everything you want to say?
I think so. I think I have done that. Oh, maybe.
Nodding her head.
Yeah.
But even as the body weakens, the power of how they've changed lives gets stronger.
Being able to learn and just understand the value of family and love and cherish that, I think, is incredible.
Values that now bind 4 generations.
She always tells people, if she's talking that day, that you've got to love everybody.
The kind of love that will clearly endure.
Right? You love everybody, and they love you, yes?
Omar Sachedina, CTV News, Toronto.
Still ahead, the end of an era at Prince Albert National Park as the last of its historic shack tents is replaced, but the legacy lives on.
Here's what's happening in our community. Ben Goff Gateway Festival is happening on July 24th and 25th at the Ben Goff Regional Park. For all the details, head to gatewayfestival.com. The Sedley Car Show and Summer Bash will be happening on July 25th at 11 a.m. at the Sedley Gym Hall. For all the details, call 306-631-5754. Submit your event to our community by visiting our website, ctvregina.ca, and click Community Calendar or scan the QR code on your screen.
big news in the basketball world. LeBron James has made a decision. One of the greatest to ever play the game will suit up for the Philadelphia 76ers next season. ESPN reporting James is set to sign a 2-year, $8 million contract with the Sixers. He made nearly $53 million with the Lakers last season. The 41-year-old says he was pretty sure he'd played his last game when he finished his 23rd NBA season earlier this year. But James insists he still truly loves basketball and has more to give. The league's all-time leading scorer believes he can help make the Sixers a championship team. He also indicated this will be his last decision. A historic run continues for the Moose Jaw Miller Express as a franchise record win streak continues.
And a swing and a miss, and down he goes. That is 13 in a row. The Millers win it tonight, 10-3, make it a baker's dozen.
The Millers taking down the Swift Current 57s 10-3 last night at Ross Wells Park for win number 13 in a row. It's the longest win streak in Millers history and the longest in the league since 2018. The all-time WCBL record is 18 wins set by Medicine Hat in 2013. The win also securing Moose Jaw's position for the postseason. The Saskatoon Berries clinching their playoff berth as well with an extra innings 6-4 win in Fort McMurray. The last of Waskasu's historic shack tents has been replaced. Simple cabins that left a lifetime of memories for generations of visitors. But as Carla Shinkaruk reports, the nearly century-long tradition will still have a home within Prince Albert National Park.
There was a feeling that we shouldn't have any of these buildings at all.
This is Mona Finlayson, a lifelong seasonal resident of Waskasiu. She's talking about the shack tents. Prince Albert National, the only park in Canada that had them in this way.
So it's very unique. A wooden floor in 2 sections, then the 4 walls, and then a canvas tarp.
Dismantled for the off-season. These started popping up in the late 1920s, 400 of them at times.
This picture of my mom and dad.
Finlayson has been coming up here every year since she was a baby. That's 88 summers. Even though she's in a different family cottage built in 1946, the shack tents still hold a place in her heart. There was a strong sense of community, she says, with a communal kitchen when it was too hot to cook on the wood stove.
If it wasn't raining, especially like in the morning, you could hear like squirrels or birds, and you could see the shadow of them.
This museum holds stories that stretch back to early Waskasiu of the late 1920s.
This is not just a model that has been scaled down.
Curator Gillian Manchester gets to see the reaction of those seeing it for the first time.
Maybe a little bit of disbelief that an entire family would have spent their time in the building.
Earlier this summer, the last original shack tent was moved out, marking the end of a chapter that spanned about 100 years. For those who experienced these cabins, whether it was in the original form or later with more permanent roofs that were left up all year, it's nostalgic.
As they walk through the door, you can see the memories flooding back to them.
Finlayson feels a sense of responsibility to share her story.
That's one of the reasons I volunteer at the shack tent, to let people know what shack tent life was like and how much fun it was. Still, at 88, I still consider myself a Waskasiu kid.
Carla Shinkaruk, CTV News, Waskasiu.
Coming up, a Saskatchewan distillery celebrates a landmark agreement that opens the door to interprovincial alcohol sales.
All right, let's take a look at your rural forecast tomorrow. A warm one expected for many parts of the province. Some areas like Hudson Bay could see some scattered precipitation earlier in the day, and that is because we saw that system that's going to make its way kind of cutting through the Prince Albert area. So the rain that you're seeing in the Hudson Bay area will be earlier in the day, and then we'll be left with mostly sunny conditions. 29 there, though. 29 and sunny for Melfort and Spiritwood and Meadow Lake and Lloydminster. 32 for Kindersley, Outlook, Watrous, and 30 and sunny for Wynyard. And then closer to the southern border, even warmer than what we just looked at. 36 degrees expected for Coronach, Rockglen, Maple Creek. 34 34 for Pilot Butte, Lumsden, East End, Cypress, Assiniboia, Leader, and 33 for Broadview, Carlisle, Rosetown, and Kenora, 31 and sunny. If we take a closer look at Elbow, where internet speeds up to 1 gig are available through SaskTel tomorrow, lots of sunshine in the Elbow and surrounding area, expecting a daytime high of 33, but the humidex value is expected to be at about 39. So a very warm day expected for the Elbow and surrounding areas. Winds picking up to about 25 kilometers an hour. So if you do need to spend some time outdoors, also keep in mind Elbow is also under the air quality warning as well. So be mindful about the time you spend outdoors, but make sure you have a great weekend.
Another overpass has been hit by an oversized load in Saskatoon. Police say a semi towing a trailer with a grain bin was traveling southbound on Idlewild Drive when the bin slammed into the 51st Street overpass, knocking it from the trailer. City of Saskatoon engineers are assessing the structure. Traffic in the area was backed up as crews worked to clear the scene and find the extent of the damage. Gas prices have jumped in Saskatchewan this week. Still, experts say drivers in our province are paying the lowest in the country at the pumps. Tensions in the Middle East are leaving global oil prices volatile, which is affecting gas prices in Canada. The average price in Saskatchewan earlier today was over 172 a litre, Manitoba, Alberta, and Ontario are a few cents per litre more. Drivers in the Maritimes are paying the highest in the country at more than $2 per litre. Saskatchewan distillers are celebrating a recent announcement from this week's First Minister's meeting, a landmark agreement easing regulations for the province's alcohol industry. Keenan Sorokan reports.
John Cote is raising a glass to much of the country opening up alcohol sales across provincial borders.
Now we're off to the races. Now we can legally ship across a provincial border.
On Tuesday, 9 provinces signed an agreement to allow direct-to-consumer alcohol sales between their provinces during the First Minister's meetings in Charlottetown. Black Fox has earned a reputation with some award-winning whiskeys and gins, which have opened up multiple international markets. But shipping a case to someone in Vancouver wasn't allowed. Now there's one less hurdle to share these products with those a lot closer to home.
We export to 6 different countries around the world, and we've always exported because it's actually simpler than going to different provinces. So now if we can even that playing field, now we can concentrate more on the Canadian market.
Distillers and brewers say this deal has been a long time coming, and while it mostly means opening up online sales, it's a step in the right direction to reducing trade barriers that are seen as outdated.
Very, very rigid, detailed rules from province to province. The general public has no idea that even happens, but when they do hear that it happens, they just think it's absolutely crazy.
Internal trade talks have intensified over the last year when Canada's trade relationship with the United States became rocky, and Tuesday's announcement is giving hope other industries could follow.
This really is our government's moving in the right direction to create one economy in Canada as opposed to 13 separate markets.
Ramaswamy says another 7% of Canada's GDP could be unlocked by removing internal trade barriers as provinces continue to work closer than ever. Keenan Sorokan, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Taking a look at your farm markets, the street price for canola down $2 today to $7.72, just shy of that $7.73 mark per ton. Futures price was down $9.40 today, but not erasing all the gains from yesterday at $833 per ton. No change for amber durum wheat. Red spring wheat did go up to the $308.80 per ton mark. Looking at feed barley at $251, staying steady, $630 per ton for flax. Moving to the money markets, TSX up today about 176 points. The Dow Jones also up about 235 points. Canadian dollar was down slightly today to 70.92 cents US. Looking at commodities, gold was up $3.31 an ounce. West Texas Intermediate crude was down $3 per barrel to the $89 mark, while Western Canadian Select crude gained $2.86 to $71.94. Gas prices in Regina most commonly $177.9. The lowest you'll see is $158.9.
revenue for the second quarter was $4.75 billion, and that beat expectations. American tariffs and tariff threats have been an overhang for Canadian National. Still, Canada's largest rail reported higher revenue on grain and fertilizer shipping, as well as petroleum and chemicals. Controlling costs also helped CN. WestJet is giving passengers a chance to change or cancel their flights if they're booked between July 30th and August 4th. That's because flight attendants have voted to strike and are in a legal position to do that on August 2nd. The last time WestJet had a major labor disruption was in 2024. Both Paramount, Skydance, and Warner Brothers have agreed to hold off finalizing their deal until next June or until a court challenge is resolved. Paramount is buying Warner Brothers for $110 billion US, but a dozen American states are trying to stop it, arguing it gives Paramount too much power in the entertainment business. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
Tonight on CTV, we have spring break murders, followed by crime scene investigators. The rebuild inside the Montreal Canadiens is on at 9 o'clock. Our director Alex might be interested in that one. The Big Bang Theory is on at 10, E-Talk at 10:30, CTV National News at 11, and Connor Chen will have all your local headlines at 11:30. Well, a few albums have been generating some buzz officially released today, Sabine, including one from Canada's own Shania Twain.
No shoes in the south in the sun, running around in that tattoo.
Twain performed the song Dirty Rosie this week on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. This song is from her new album, Little Miss Twain. It's the Grammy winner's 7th album, which is being billed as her most eclectic and autobiographical to date. Spanning several genres, Twain says the album is her giving fans a taste of where she came from and how that shaped her point of view.
Let's go, girls.
I love him. All right, Johnny Depp is making his return to the big screen, taking on a classic role in a reimagined version of A Christmas Carol.
I say to you, sir, Merry Humbug! Merry Christmas! Humbug! And a Happy New Year! Humbug!
Depp will be playing Ebenezer Scrooge, the crotchety protagonist from the Charles Dickens tale. He'll star alongside Rupert Grint, Daisy Ridley, Ian McKellen, and several other big names in Ebenezer. The trailer says it features a name you know and a story you don't. It's out November 13th, just in time for the holiday run.
I am here for it.
The Ghost of Christmas Past kind of covers some of his backstory, though, doesn't he?
I don't know. Does it?
A little bit. Maybe not this. We don't know. We don't know this story. This
Stay
is brand
tuned.
new.
November 13th.
We're going to find out. Johnny
We'll report
Depp.
back on November 14th.
Johnny Depp's there. Rupert Grint, Harry Potter guy. Is it? Oh, Ron Weasley.
I was like, don't do that to me.
I would have gotten so much flack after we got done here.
The Harry Potter guy. Ian McLennan? McClellan.
Ian McKellen.
It's Friday.
It's Friday. It's a good thing, too. Have a great weekend.
Enjoy your
See you
weekend.
Monday.